The Ollie North, an ollie's one-footed cousin. An Ollie North is when you do an ollie, but your front foot slides up and off the nose of the board. It's essentially an ollie, except your front foot isn't bound by the length of the board, and it's free to kick forward as far as it wants. It can be a pretty cool trick with a lot of potential for style once you get them down. The only real trick that you need to learn before learning an Ollie North is just a regular ollie. But you should make sure that you can suck up your back foot with your ollies and kind of bone them out almost. If you have the type of ollies where you can pop off the ground, but the back doesn't necessarily get sucked up and it's a little bit rocketed, then you may need to learn how to push your front foot forward to level out the board first before learning this trick. You can do this by practicing sliding your front foot to the nose and actually pushing it forward in front of you a few times. For help with that, you can go back and watch my How to Ollie video. Another trick that could help with learning an Ollie North is a kickflip. Just because that motion of your foot coming up and off the board is similar to a kickflip, they're just going in different directions. So there are three main parts to an Ollie North. There's the pop, the sliding your foot up and off the nose, and the landing. The foot positioning for this trick is exactly like an ollie. You want to make sure that your front foot isn't too far off to the heel or toe side, and put it basically directly in the middle. You also may want to try moving your front foot a little closer to the nose of the board. That way when you go to slide your foot up, there won't be as much distance to clear in order to get off the nose of the board. Your goal here is to make sure that your foot is basically completely perpendicular to the board once you slide it off the nose. If it's too far to the heel or the toe side, you're just going to end up with a kickflip or a heel flip. So yes, your foot is just going to go up and off and forward in front of the board. So to begin practicing, just do a few ollies and get kind of warmed up. Like I said before, make sure that you can slide your foot forward to bring up the back of the board. Also, you might want to try doing a few ollies with your weight landing a little bit towards the nose. What you want to do is basically, little by little, you want to push your front foot further and further towards the nose of the board until it's actually getting off the edge. Don't try for the full leg extension at first. You just want to start getting comfortable pushing your foot towards the nose of the board. You may end up with some weird looking ollies, kind of like this. So this is one of those tricks that I think is easier moving because the board kind of goes with you as you have the momentum. So I would say try this a few times rolling. Try and do an ollie, but kick your front foot off the board, and don't even worry about landing it. Just push your front foot off and let your back foot land on the board. This should get you more used to the awkward feeling of pushing your foot off the board in midair. This is also one of those tricks where I highly recommend that you hold on to something while learning it. It will just make it a lot easier if you can hold your weight up off the board. And also just in case anything goes wrong, you won't fall down or get hurt. So basically the goal here is that when you do an ollie, your front foot is going to slide up the nose, but once it pushes off the edge, it's going to push the nose of the board downward, and you got to make sure you can suck up your back foot. And instead of like an ollie where you keep your front foot pushed down onto the board, you're going to kick it straight forward in front of you while the nose of the board dips down. You may end up with some funny looking ones where your front foot doesn't come too far off the board, but like I said, you work on the extension later. You want to get the main feeling of it down. As you get more and more comfortable, you can start to try pushing your foot further and further out. Also, you don't necessarily have to be able to ollie very high to do this trick, just a nice mid-sized ollie. As long as your feet are fast enough to kick forward and get back to the board, then you should be fine. This is one of those tricks where there will be a lot of trial and error, especially accidentally flipping the board one way or the other, or not getting your foot quite off the end of the nose. But I think once you kick your foot off the nose just once and you feel what's supposed to actually happen, it kind of clicks and you should be able to start to hone it better so you can get the full extension and a proper ollie. So here are a few Ollie Norths. Just mainly focus on my front foot and notice how when it's coming up and off the end of the board, it's pushing the nose downward, and that's making the back of the board lift up. And my foot goes straight in front of me, but the nose of the board dips down a little bit. Also, as a bonus, this trick kind of taught me how to kickflip higher, because you basically do the same exact foot positioning and movement, except you slide slightly off the end of the board. So hopefully if you learn this, it'll help you out with your kickflips too. So anyways, this was just a brief overview of how I do my Ollie Norths. Hopefully if you're trying to learn this, then it helped you in any kind of way. And if you need any additional help, or you have any comments or suggestions, or if you want to suggest a trick tip or anything like that, just let me know in the comments below. And besides that, just like and subscribe if you want.